trying out new things. That seems to be the theme of how I have been spending my self-isolation time. Hi everyone, this is Catherine Lucadu, and this is pretty fun. This is my first episode of an actual podcast where I'm not doing a video and I'm just right here in my office, just going with my thoughts. So that's where this idea came about. You know, it's going to be a little bit more informal. And I thought to myself, I love reading books and I love trying out new things and learning new things all the time. So why don't I share some of the little tidbits of information that I pull out of some of the books I read? I don't know if you're like me, but I have so many books in a bookshelf, and every time I find something really fascinating, I will turn down the page or I'll highlight a section, and then I never come back to it because, what do you do with that? It's just something that really caught my attention. So that's what we're going to do from now on. I have decided to start this podcast called Mindset Medicine. So things that I have found fascinating in my daily life, in the books that I read, I am going to bring you one little topic or one little story every day. And I think it could be something interesting. So I'm a little nervous because I've never actually just sat on my own with a microphone talking into it, but it's exciting. And as I started out, I find that I'm on, where are we now? We're on day 34 in self-isolation at home during the coronavirus, or COVID-19 as they call it. And it's been very interesting, hasn't it? Having this time to slow down, to pause, and just think about, what's been going on, what is going on, and what does the future hold? Because we know and we understand that things are going to be a little bit different moving forward. We just don't know how. So I've been finding that really fascinating. And in having this time at home, so 34 days, I've decided to experiment with new things. Now, here's something really ridiculous, but I'm going to share it anyway. So, you know how you get these little perfume samples? Usually, I wear the same perfume every single day. I like it. It smells nice. So that's what I use. But since I've been home, I decided that I am going to experiment with all those little samples that we get when we go to the drugstore, or if we're passing through an airport or a mall. I know it sounds absolutely crazy and probably stupid, but for me, it's just been something that I never had the time, and I'm home. So if it smells really horrible, nobody's going to smell it. So in talking about change and starting things new, my mind is always racing in how can I innovate? How can I think of something different? How can I adapt, change, and move forward in a more successful way? And I had a conversation with someone who I've never spoken to yesterday by Zoom. A wonderful lady, very, very smart. And I've been toying with a whole bunch of different ideas. And the problem I find is when you are on your own and you are stuck with a mind full of ideas, and you can't process it. You really can't. You sit there and you're kind of playing a devil's advocate with yourself. Like, well, there's this idea, but maybe that won't work. So there's doubt. And then you think, well, I could, but then it might be so much work. So more doubt, negativity. So what you really need, I realized yesterday, is you need to be able to vocalize these things, hear what they sound like when you get them out of your head, tell someone who really has no agenda, but is just listening to you. And then what they're going to do is they're going to give you back some really constructive advice. So what's interesting when you talk to people who you don't know is, they'll say to you, do you really want my honest feedback? And of course you want someone's honest feedback, but sometimes it's hard to take, isn't it? Especially if it's constructive feedback and it's something that you don't want to hear. So, she said, would you like me to be honest? And I said, absolutely, I really do. And she said, well, first of all, what would you do if you knew success was guaranteed with your idea? What would you do? Would you go forward? And I thought about it and I said, well, yeah, I would. And she said, therefore, proceed like that. Proceed like it's going to be successful. So therefore, don't let doubt stop you. We know it's true that it's hard to make ourselves believe in our ability because usually we're thinking, I don't think I can do that good enough. I don't know enough. I just don't think I'm capable. Well, what if? And all those what ifs come to our mind. What's interesting is that when I got off the call with her and I thought about it a little more, I thought to myself, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I am going to go forward. There's going to be no doubt. I'm just going to put doubt sort of in a small little box and I'm going to close the lid and I'm just going to move forward. Because what if success is inevitable and I've decided because of doubt, which really isn't part of anything, that's what stopped me. So that's how I'm going to end today. What would you do? How would you proceed if you knew that success was absolutely inevitable? Would you make that move? And if you would, then make that move anyway. Thanks everyone for listening to my first podcast, Mindset Medicine. And I'll be back again with another little tidbit that I picked up for another book tomorrow.